do you want to maybe tell me quickly where you're from, where you are now, and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Sophie, and I'm from the Netherlands originally, but at the moment I'm living in London, and I'm doing a PhD at Imperial where I kind of study how to improve the NHS. So I'm not a doctor or anything, but it's more about the processes of care and how to make things better, the system.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, what's the current situation that you are in London, and maybe London is in general? Like, what are the measures taken and so on?
Yeah, so at the moment, the social distancing policies have been put in place. So I think we obviously need to stay at home as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like only if you're doing like work that is essential, you can still go to work, but otherwise you're encouraged, well, kind of enforced almost to work from home. You can still go to the supermarket and you can have one exercise side a day, and that's it. You can't meet up with people. You can like I think you're allowed to have to walk with two people outside distance at all times. So there's also like massive queues in front of the supermarket where everyone is like standing 1.5 meters apart. But yeah, that's the current situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm quite lucky that I live with 5 flatmates, so I'm not completely isolated.
Okay. But has that not kind of like, I don't know, what are the politics there? Are people not afraid? Because obviously five people that come in and out. Is there no? I don't know.
Yeah, so in the house it has been in the beginning it was actually fine because it's just nice to be able to be with each other. But like slowly, there are some tensions in like different different opinions, and things are like I guess the longer it takes, the more issues you encounter. So in the beginning, I think the main issue was that when all of this started, I just got out of hospital. So I was admitted with sepsis, and it was an infection in my stomach. But obviously, your whole immune system is a bit down, and that basically means that I'm in the risk group for being admitted if I do get the virus.
Mm.
So already from the start, I've been very careful, getting hand soap in immediately, and like asking my flatmates to wash their hands, and they were quite good with that. But obviously, over time, um, that you just get into the habit. So that was the first issue. But then the second issue was, oh, someone is dating someone. Can that person come into the house? Work. It's not your boyfriend, but
Mm-hmm.
you are dating for a while. It's not just the friends. Like, so we had a conversation on that in our WhatsApp group. But luckily, we're quite open. So things like, but how isolated is he himself? And in the end, we did decide that he was allowed to come over. It's a bit weird that you have to ask your flatmate if your boyfriend can come over. But yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah.
And the final issue that we had was we have a cleaner who comes twice a week. In the beginning, we were just not sure if, and it's not one person, but it's a company, so it like rotates who comes over. So in the beginning, we weren't even sure if they were going to come, and we thought, well, let's just see. And they do keep coming. And then we were thinking, like, shit, how does this work? Because on the one hand, for their safety mainly, for the safety of society and a tiny bit for our safety, it's better if they don't come. But it needs an income, especially like if you're cleaning. I'm not sure like how much reserves you have in your bank account. You were like,
Mm-hmm.
But then the obvious solution is that you keep paying, but they still don't come over.
Okay.
I thought this. Apparently, my flatmates did not agree that that was an obvious solution. So that was the only thing where we kind of not agreed about the be doing.
Yeah.
So just to keep the peace, we decided let's keep it the way it is. So the cleaner is still coming, which I find very irresponsible. But hey, like I'm But like getting along with everyone is also high on the priority list. So yeah, the
Yeah.
cleaner is still coming.
Okay. And obviously, part of your well, in your degree, you think a lot about the NHS and how the NHS runs, right? So have you? So how's it been like seeing the developments in the UK with the National Health Service at the moment?
Yeah, it's funny actually because obviously I don't really know what happens on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear a tiny bit, but most medical people that I'm in contact with actually work abroad, so either in the Netherlands or in Portugal. But it's funny actually because I've been admitted to hospital not that long ago myself, and then I could finally see what really happens. And I think the key issue is also political, like on what's happening in the NHS,
Yeah.
because the UK is quite a liberal country.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that they started these social isolation policies a lot later.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, we're fine. The NHS as a system is fine. We have enough protective gear in the system. It's just not in the right place. And I'm not sure if that's true. And also, if you're working, it doesn't matter whether it's in the system. You need it in your hands.
Yeah.
So that's obviously quite a big issue. But I think it's the same as everywhere. It's just very stressed. Not enough staff get sick, patients make each other sick. But they're building the new hospitals now, so maybe that's going to help, I don't know.
Yeah, we've been talking about this, haven't we? I feel like this is going to change a lot of things in the world and how things are going to go on from now on. So what do you think in the future? Do you think, because obviously we're quite young, and so I was wondering, is that going to change in how we live, how things are approached in the future? I mean, work-wise or anything?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually, because they do say that our generation is a bit less well off than our parents' generation, just like money-wise and those kind of things. So in general, there's a bit more anxiety levels. And obviously there's like it's not only like economic, it's also that we have so much choice and technology and all those kind of things. But either way, like there are more burnouts, more like mental health issues. And I was thinking like that was almost in the past. Let's say that this continues forever. And now there's even on top of that, you can just feel in the streets. Like if you walk past people, like normally you would just walk. Now it's like, oh, damn it, I need to keep 2 meters apart. So you walk around them. I started realizing I don't even look people in the eye anymore, just because each other. It's really strange.
Yeah.
So that's in general, like I'm not worried about getting sick or about corona in general, but you can just feel a sense of anxiety. So I don't know if that's going to continue. Like it's at least I'm happy I'm a millennial then, not the next generation. Because I do think these viruses might come more often. So we might have like phases or years where we need to live like this, and then you can go out again. I don't know. Like a sci-fi movie where life is different now, and I think it will continue to be different.
Okay, yeah. But if we assume that maybe it'll go back a bit more to normal, is there anything you're really looking forward to doing again?
Yes, but something I don't want to say on camera. No, I guess I can also think of something else. Yes, actually, I would love to go out dancing again. Yeah, being with loads of people in the same room, feeling the music. Because that's that sense of just like being together, being alone together. Now it's just like being alone.
Yeah.
But it's very different being alone together. And I love that about techno. But that's something I would like to do immediately.
As soon as as the measures stop, yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's funny how you, yeah, I don't know. I've seen memes where they're like, now I know how dogs feel, because they just stay inside the house all day, and that's why they just want to go out for a walk all the time. Because like, I never had the urge to just go out for walks all the time, but now that I've been in the house for 14 days, I'm just like, shit, I really want to go out for a walk.
Yeah, I know. But walking is so healing. I
Mm.
had it when I was really stressed last year. Like going out for walks would just be the most amazing thing. Just listening to music, just stop, and you get like moving. So you get all the I don't know, your physical and mental body are both engaged and pilot. You don't need to think about anything. And it always felt so powerful, and now I have the same thing again.
Mm.
Walking is different when you're stressed.
Yeah.
It just feels so much better than if you just go for a normal walk.
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
just lastly, how's it with family relations and your parents? I assume they're in the Netherlands. Do you guys talk a lot? Are they worried about you, or are you worried about them?
With my parents, nothing that much has changed, to be honest, because I live abroad anyways. So we would talk on the phone maybe once every 2 weeks. We talk, so it's a bit more often. The only thing that has really changed for me is that my mom is now working from home, so I can phone her at any time of the day and not only outside of work hours.
Okay, yeah.
So that's nice. But they were a bit worried for me after being hospitalized, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and for them, but they're very cautious people. And I do have my grandmother's aunt lives in Lombardy in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually, every time that I speak to my mom, I'm always like, oh, how is she doing? Is she okay? But my mom is actually very Dutch and very grounded. So she
Okay.
keeps being like, it's well organized. She like lives on her own. Like
Mm.
she has enough space. She doesn't see anyone.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it. So yeah, it's the same. We still talk on the phone.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to me from London, and yeah, we'll stay in
No
touch.
worries. Yeah, will do.
Cool. All right.
It's nice to talk to you
Yeah.
too.
Bye.
Bye.